Oral questions by members.
The Leader of Her Majesty's Loyal Opposition.
Thank you. Honourable Speaker, 380 healthcare workers on Vancouver Island are about to lose their jobs due to private health employers flipping contracts in publicly funded facilities. At New Horizons in Campbell River, 120 people have been given notice, and 260 at Sunridge Place in Duncan. This affects more than 250 residents and their families, Honourable Speaker. These corporate takeovers that are at the cause of this are hurting families, the elderly, the vulnerable, and those who care for them. Honourable Speaker, does the Minister agree with the Ombudsperson and common sense that mass layoffs harm patients and staff alike? And will he take action to do something about it?
Right on.
Minister of Health.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Our priority, of course, is the care and safety of residents who are at the facilities operated by not just health authorities and nonprofits, but also by private providers. Island Health has a contractual arrangement with the operator of New Horizons that provides services for clients in care, and we expect that any operational changes, Madam Speaker, are done in a way that ensures a continual high level of care. Operators under those contracts have an obligation to maintain that high quality of care, and Island Health, along with the Ministry, will ensure that that is in fact the case, Madam Speaker.
The Leader of the Opposition on a supplemental.
Changes, everyone's getting laid off, Honourable Speaker. The care aides who provide care directly to residents are being laid off. Their lives are being disrupted by these changes, Honourable Speaker. It's a disruption, surely, Honourable Speaker, in the continuity of care. So if the Minister is saying he is taking charge of the matter, why does he think it's acceptable? Why does he think it's acceptable? Because of a contract flip, because of an arrangement in a publicly funded facility, arrangement to sell the facility that everyone's getting laid off. How does he think, Honourable Speaker, that contributes to the continuity of care, and will he do anything about it?
Minister of Health.
Madam Speaker, as I mentioned, Island Health will be ensuring that high-quality care is maintained in the transition. I understand that most, if not all, of the employees will be rehired, Madam Speaker, and it is the obligation of Island Health and with the Ministry of Health to ensure that those residents in care have high-quality care and that they are not affected by this transition. So we will be ensuring, Madam Speaker, that that will in fact be the case.
Leader of the Opposition on a supplemental.
Well, perhaps if the Minister would visit the facilities, talk to the workers, talk to the residents, talk to their families, he would understand that his policies are harming the quality of care, Honourable Speaker. These actions are the direct result, even Park Place, the new owner, acknowledges this, the direct result of government policy, Honourable Speaker. I mean, how disrespectful it is of people who go to work and work hard for the government to say, and the Minister to say, oh, I think they'll be rehired, Honourable Speaker, at presumably a lower salary. How disrespectful of that of people who work hard. You know, when the executives at BC Ferries, the government wants to do something about their bonuses, they add the bonus to the base salary. That's what they do. When it comes to hardworking healthcare workers, Honourable Speaker, and the residents they serve, there's no action at all, Honourable Speaker. There's no action at all. It's contemptible, Honourable Speaker. But why doesn't the Minister do something? Because, in fact, in this case, residents and their families in Campbell River have spoken clearly in opposition to this. Why doesn't he do something to protect the quality of care in these facilities?
Minister of Health.
Madam Speaker, I've had the opportunity to visit a number of long-term residential care facilities around the province. These are facilities that take care of those people who, for many years, took care of us. And, Madam Speaker, the men and the women who work in these nursing facilities, whether they are run by health authorities or nonprofit organizations or private providers, do an amazing job looking after a very vulnerable part of our population. Madam Speaker, we have increased the number of long-term residential care beds by 5,000 since 2001. Madam Speaker, I did not see anything in the opposition's campaign that they would do away with private providers, Madam Speaker. These are men and women that provide great care, and it is our duty and the health authorities' duty to ensure that that care continues in any transition period. We will continue to ensure that high-quality care remains for the seniors of our province, Madam Speaker.
Honourable members, the chair needs to hear the answer and the question. Kootenay West.
Madam Speaker, I too have traveled to facilities in this province, and I've talked to the seniors and their families, and what they're telling me is a lot of those seniors don't even remember their families. The caregivers are their families. They're the people that take care of them. They're the people. Constant turnover at care facilities compromises the very care that these seniors are getting. And it's a direct result of the legislation that this government brought in 2002, legislation that's subsequently been found illegal, which paved the way for the layoff of over 8,000 healthcare workers in this province. And once again, this government's refusing to protect seniors from mass layoffs that this government originated, that this government made possible. Will the minister finally stand up? Stand up for those seniors, stand up for those families, and stand up for the caregivers who dearly love those seniors.
Minister of Health.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I agree with the member opposite that the men and women that are caring for our seniors in long-term residential care facilities around the province are indeed like their family, Madam Speaker. That is why we will ensure that the transition of any ownership change, the transition ensures that that same high quality of care continues. I've said that, Madam Speaker, and we will continue to do just that.
West on a supplemental.
Madam Speaker, this continues to happen. How many more facilities are we going to hear about? How many more times are we going to hear about seniors that are suffering under the hands of this government? Seniors and family don't want this legislation that makes these mass layoffs happen. The healthcare workers don't want them. The communities don't want them. More than 5,000 people have signed a petition that calls on the government to stop the turnover at staff at New Horizons and Campbell River. And it's obvious that this government is the only one and the only people who think this is the right thing to do. When will the minister commit to ending these policies that put profits before the care of vulnerable seniors?
Minister of Health.
Madam Speaker, as I mentioned earlier, we have been able to increase the number of spaces available to look after our vulnerable senior citizens around the province. Madam Speaker, there was a time in my city of Kamloops where one could not find a place for their elderly parent. Now that waiting list has been reduced to 0 with the opening of the Gemstone Bill. The men and women who look after our vulnerable population in those care facilities around the province do an amazing job, Madam Speaker. We have increased the hours of care for each of those residents of our long-term residential care facilities. We ensure there are standards that are adhered to. We do regular inspections that are available on the internet, Madam Speaker. And we are going to continue that high level of care is maintained through any transition period.